First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you, Nicholas, for inviting me. And I would like to share with you some of the things I've experienced with living on light and also what I'm working on right now. But first, let me explain a little bit who I am. I've been in holistic medicine for 40 years, and I've worked as an acupuncturist. I work with homeopathy, nutrition, mental techniques, all kinds of stuff. I've been studying for 40 years to find the best techniques for healing and also the best techniques for life quality and all of that. And out of this, I'm training with my wife, coaches all over the world. We have one training called Omega Health Coaching, where we teach people how to take care of themselves, how to find the cause of disease, how to go to past lives and find the causes there, and many more things. My wife also is teaching a training called Crystalline Oracle Training, in which we connect people to their higher self and to the universe so they can become channelers for their own higher self or the higher self of other people or any intelligence they want to connect to. So we've been, I would say, exploring the fields of energy for I don't know, many years. Besides that, since I was that's 6 years ago, I am also a martial artist. I'm an 8-degree black belt. I have several world records. I've been champion of Europe for many years, and I still practice some of that. I give some workshops in that arena too. And so our lives is around living to become the best you can be. So we have our spiritual practices, we meditate, we work on ourselves, we constantly are striving to improve ourselves, not only physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And one of our biggest discovery was that we discovered that the right brain is wireless connected to the whole universe, and we can connect to any intelligent being or even non-intelligent beings and get information. And that's what this Crystalline Oracle training is about, is how to connect through your right brain to the universe. So I've done Living on Light before, Pranic Nourishment. That was shortly after I met Yasmin. I think this is like 15, 16 years ago. And at that time I did not believe it was possible. But synchronicity brought me and Yasmin together, and I got to translate for her a full day. And in that translation, we really connected. And I was translating her speech into Dutch, into Netherlands. And after being with her for a full day, I couldn't eat for 2 weeks. I couldn't drink. I had to force myself. And then I decided to try it out of curiosity to find out what it is living on prana. And I did this for 6 months, pure form, no drinking, no water, no food. And the reason I stopped at that time was that I was too sensitive. I was too open. I would get information from everyone. And if I'm one-on-one, that would be no problem. But if I'm in a group, it was like having these radio stations constantly sending out and talking to me. And I truly experienced what I would call the sense of enlightenment, the sense of pure love, the sense of not having judgment, the sense of being connected. But it frightened me at that time as well, because I didn't know how to shut it off. I didn't know how to handle it. So, and the other reason I stopped was that everyone wanted to talk only about living on light, while I was there also to teach other stuff. So I decided to quit and then to go on with my mission. And my mission is to bring a new kind of medicine on this planet. I'm working on some huge plans to create centers in the form of pyramids where we will do all kinds of healings. And so for 15 years, it was just in the back of my head. And once in a while when I do fasting, I noticed that, it was easier for me than for my wife, but I never put a lot of attention to it. But I think it was around 6-7 months ago, we got through channeling a message that I was not living my full potential, I was not living in my power. And at the time I was studying quantum science. I was using a lot of the a technique called quantum journeys and quantum voyaging, quantum jumping to another timeline, where your quantum self, your doppelganger, is living the life that you want to live. And I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from seeing my potential or the future, the one that I want to live. And I discovered that in that future, my quantum self, the one I want to become, the greatest, grandest version of me, was living on light and also shaved his head. So I started doing that. And then in channeling, I got the next calling. It was that now is the time. That was around 6 months ago, and it was to find 1 month to be in solitude, at least 3 weeks. That took, quite some time, but finally in May, I had this time to be 1 month completely off from the world, and I'm in the basement of our house where I can meditate for hours. And I discovered many things at this time that's different. Number one, I started out with an intention, a very clear intention, how I want to be living on light, that I want to be able to select the information that I'm getting, and not that I will be completely open. And that is perfect now. When I tune into a person, I get the information that I want, but if I'm just talking to a person, I'm not receiving any information if I don't want to. I'm not sensitive anymore, so I can be around people and not pick up any information. So a lot of things changed compared to the first time. The second thing that changed was that this time I could manage the process totally better. Number one, I started 6 months before with the clear intention, started to prepare myself, and actually I'm finishing a book about this. I dictated a book while I was living on light. It will be ready, and I will be publishing this online in September. And also then I think of starting a group, I Am Light, where I will be helping people, teaching them the techniques that I've used. One of the things that was really important was to discover why the organs do not deteriorate or get into atrophy when we're living on light. We're not using our stomach and intestines anymore, not using our pancreas. Some of us are not using our kidneys, or liver is barely functioning in that sense, because we are so in pure light. And what I discovered was that we are absorbing through our pores electromagnetic energy into the meridians. So for example, practitioners of Qigong, if they practice during the weeks of switching over to the light, they keep on absorbing Qi from the environment, it's much easier for them. And I myself developed a new kind of meditation where I work with the chakras and I work with rainbows. I saw this documentary on the rainbow body of Buddhist monks that meditated for years, and when they die, the body starts emitting these rainbows and these beautiful odors like essential oils, and the body shrinks sometimes from 5.5 feet to maybe 3 feet, and this happens over a period of 1 to 2 weeks, and then the body is perfectly preserved. So I saw this, and then I decided to use my imagination to absorb rainbows through my chakras, and I developed different breathing techniques for that, and that made it this time so easy that I'm writing a whole protocol for people who want to follow this kind of way to do it. There's not one way to pass over to the light, because there's so many different ways. The only thing you need to know is that everybody has this connection with the divine spark, and it's all about the divine essence. We all can do it. It's a choice to want to cross over. And when you cross over, in my opinion, there are different ways. There's one where I call it the homo quantum, where you are absorbing more than enough energy for your own body. For example, I do a lot of intense physical exercise, high intensity training, and I do that like 40 minutes every day. And yeah, you need to be able to absorb a lot of energy and oxygen. So that's the homo quantum. All your nourishment, all your sustenance come from around you, from the chi, the prana, mana, whatever you want to call that. And then you have a second form, which I call the Homo hybridus. Homo hybridus is where we partially live from light and partially still sustain ourselves with liquids and foods. The Homo quantum can eat for pleasure or drink for pleasure, but they don't need it. The Homo hybridus is like a hybrid function where we're using both. And that's something I want to bring into the world as well, because there are a lot of advantages to become the Homo hybridus, because in that form you are supplementing your body with all the minerals, all the vitamins, all the essential amino acids and essential fatty acids that you need, and stuff that we don't even know. So the body will function much better. And because you are limiting your food, you may eat half, or most people can get away with 20%, and your body is less taxed by the digestive system. Your mind will be more clear. You will have a stronger connection to the quantum field, because your right brain is not so much being pulled down by the digestive system. So I would recommend for most people to first try out the Homo hybridus, because when you do that, at some point you may get a calling, and then the switch over would be so much easier. So I would recommend you to start with practices like Qigong, start meditating. Yasmin has some incredible, nice guided meditation. One is called Pranic Nourishment. One is called The Breath of Love. She has another one. I think it's the Pranic Essentials or something like that. If you start listening to these type of meditations, you're already starting to become the Homo hybridus, the mixed form. Going back to the Homo quantum, as a Homo quantum, you have three choices. One is to be pure and not to have any type of liquids or nutrients. I've done this for 6 months. Then you have one where you can drink some water or some liquids as you need or want. And then I think the best form, at least the one that I like the most, is where you choose. For example, when I go out with my wife, I can choose to have a glass of wine or some soup. It's much more for pleasure. It's not for sustenance. It's just like people snack. People don't need to drink coffee. They don't need to eat a cookie. You have those options. For me, it's the ultimate freedom. And also for healing, it's incredible. Now now I'm living on light, I can activate my stem cells better. I can regenerate my body better. My biological age, so my chronological age is 66. My biological age, it was around 55. It dropped down now to 47, 48. And I think I still have some leeway there, because I'm still a baby Homo quantum. So I'm just 1 month out of the womb. So I'm going to explore more and more what we can do with living on light. There's so much more paradigms that can be broken. So in the coming 2-3 years, that's going to be my focus, to use this form of being to explore. And also I've put out a challenge for some TV programs where I want to demonstrate in a period of 2 weeks or a month that I can live without any sustenance, any liquid, and still do everything I want to do. And maybe we can do this with a group, I don't know, but that's something we need to, or at least I have this need to show the world that we're not crazy, and that this is really working. But that's not the basic need. The basic need is more to get this information out on a larger scale, so more people can be called and to be shifting to this kind of living, which will also reduce your carbon footprint, which is one of the reasons that I love doing this, is that it's another reduction for carbon footprint. We live here in Asheville, North Carolina. We have huge solar panels, the largest private solar panels in Asheville. So we do everything we can to reduce our footprint and carbon footprint, and this is not a way to do it. So what are the advantages for me right now? direct connection with my higher self, my quantum self, and I connect also with my quantum self who is 1 year ahead of me. So I'm literally walking in his footprints, and he's my coach, and he gives me advice, and I consult with him constantly what choices to make, what choices not to make. I'm much more conscious, much more mindful than I was. I was already quite conscious, but now I'm even more mindful. I'm very mindful of my energy, who I want to spend it with, what I want to do, what choices I make, and what I want to teach. And my healing powers have increased. I've noticed this with my wife, that especially hands-on healing is much more powerful, but also remote healing is much stronger. And I have a more clarity in my head, but clarity on my purpose. But what I like the most is that I don't have emotions anymore, in the sense of we have feelings. All of us have feelings. I'm not talking about not having feelings. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful. I'm very, let's say, connected to my feelings. But emotions, as I knew them, like irritations, frustrations, anger, even fear or worries, they're not there anymore. And when something comes up, just by my breathing with my rainbows, it disperses immediately. So, and anytime it comes up, it's a part still of a trigger, normally a past life issue, because it's like this life, my past has been erased, and it sounds a little strange, but my past has no more influence on me in that sense. It's like a history book. I look at my past, I just see what happened, and I see the story behind the story. But whenever an emotion flickers up, I immediately know it's from a past life, and I just breathe, and it disperses into the light. And that's a great feeling. And I also notice when someone else I'm close to gets emotions, I can feel that as a disturbance in the field, and I can manage that. I can do something with it. I can disperse it, and I can see the other person relax. The other thing that I notice is that because my right brain is so strong functioning right now, is there's no difference between me and another. I don't feel a separation as before. I'm aware there's a separation because my left brain is still working, but it's not a true separation. I'm there with the other person. I see myself in the other person. And that's also the concept of quantum. In quantum, we explain it that we are the only ones that exist. Everything else around us is created for us. So everything that happens in our world happens for us. Nothing happens to us that is not part of a bigger plan. So we're not in a victim state where things happen to us. We're in a state of creation and choices and infinite possibilities. And being aware of that really makes a big changes. And I'm now teaching a lot about quantum. The technique I'm using, I call it quantum voyage. I teach people how to make jumps to the quantum future. I give initiations where I connect them to that future so they will resonate with that future. Then synchronicity will start becoming stronger and stronger, and then you will collapse the timeline. So you will start living that timeline where you want to go. So in closing, I just want to say I'm a quantum baby, and Homo quantum baby. I'm still exploring. I'm very excited to share with you, and also I want to, if you're interested, I'm more than willing to send all of you the book I'm writing, which will be somewhere ready in September or before. When it's ready, it will be my gift to you if you want to read about it. This journey, how to make it easy to shift over. And if you do, either I think you can write to my help desk, which is support@roymartina.com, and we'll put you on a list, and we'll send you the book. It's for free. There's no double agenda. If you want to join my fan page later, I Am Light, that's fine. There'll be an invitation to that, where I'll be sharing some of my ideas. My wife and I have something called the Joy Tribe, where we share a lot of the things that we're doing. If you're interested in that, you can come to that too. Our website is crystalline.com, and you write it as Christ allin.com. We're big fans of the Christ consciousness, and we want to help spread that through the whole world. So I hope this is of help. I hope you all will be inspired to either become a Homo Quantum or a Homo Hybridus, where you're doing both. You have choices. You have the freedom to do so. If more people would do this, we will have less burden on this planet, and we will spread more the light of peace and love on this planet, and we will together jump to the quantum timeline where we can have, you know, like Eden on this planet, where we all can live in peace together and all be in that bubble of love and sharing. And that's the time we're moving to. The time is happening right now. Thank you, and hopefully I will see you somewhere. I hope to be there next year and share some of my experience, and I'll be on this journey for over a year, and a year of research and exploring. I'm sure I have a lot to share with you next year. Thank you for watching me. Thank you, Nicholas, for inviting me, and you guys, you're doing awesome, and I really hope to connect to you soon. Bye-bye.